Now, a member of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe Monetary Policy Committee believes the country's new currency, Zimbabwe Gold's widespread acceptance locally, will trigger a similar acceptance regionally. Persistence Gwanyanya shared his sentiments on the ZiG's performance earlier today during an Urban Development Corporation taxation workshop in Bulawayo. The ZiG was introduced in April as part of policy interventions to address exchange rate volatility, curtail inflation, and restore macroeconomic stability.
It appears there is consensus on stability, the achievement of stability post-ZiG regime. Even outside credible voices have weighed in to acknowledge the return to stability, and have also advised that if the current trajectory continues, we are likely to see sustained stability until the end of the year. The IMF, in its Article 4 report, indicated that inflation is projected to end the year at around 7%. And for the first time this year, we see single-digit inflation achievable after inflation has gone into 3-digit numbers in the first quarters.
The ZiG is backed by precious minerals, mainly gold and foreign currency. Zimbabwe has 2.5 tons of gold and 370 million in cash reserves to back the new currency. Gwanyanya said its stabilization was due to deliberate efforts by the central bank, which are in line with the international best practices.
You trying to manage the monetary affairs in line with international best practices. So they've answered the call of credible voices in the market that for judicious management of the monetary system, there is need to do away with quasi-fiscal operations, and that has happened. So you may also want to know that the Liquidity Management Committee has been activated, and this Liquidity Management Committee is important in that it is constituted by Treasury and Reserve Bank, which
We are now joined by Business Weekly news editor Golden Siwanda to discuss remarks by the RBZ Monetary Policy Committee member. Golden, to start with, what are monetary authorities doing to ensure the ZiG is accepted internationally?
Yeah, thank you for the question. My personal perspective is that I think authorities are doing as much as they can to make sure that the local currency becomes internationally accepted, in the sense that I think at some point in time in the journey of our economic transformation, we'll have a situation where people coming from outside would then need to first of all convert whatever foreign currency holding they would have in their possession into a local currency and then be able to transact it. I think to ensure that we get to that point, the central bank has maintained, as it has promised from the outset, since the new central bank governor came in, and even during the era of the previous central bank governor, Dr. Manguja, that they will continue to maintain a tight monetary policy position in order to make sure that they deal with the problem of volatility and inflation. So once we have durable in a foreign local currency stability, you've got a good recipe to make sure that everyone who uses the currency, local and foreign users of the local currency, have confidence in that currency and accept it at whatever point they need to transact in the domestic economy.
Perhaps as follow-up, what steps need to be taken for local currency to be accepted universally, to put it across that way?
And then in terms of what needs to be done to make sure that the currency becomes widely accepted, I think some of the key issues, like I said, maintaining stability and continue on a tight monetary policy position, as well as making sure that the currency is easily convertible, because what has been coming from industry are reports of challenges of companies trying to convert from ZiG to foreign currency or US dollars in order for them to be able to import critical things like raw materials and equipment. So you find companies have been trying to approach banks for foreign currency, but there hasn't been enough supply of that particular precious commodity. So I think that is one of the critical areas that authorities need to work on, to make sure that everyone who accepts payment in local currency is then able to convert it into foreign currency and be able to use it for whatever purposes they need to use the foreign currency. But also critically is to make sure that they continue to promote wider use of the local currency across the economy, by making sure that government departments, especially because government is the biggest economic player in any economy across the world, to make sure that there's wider use, by making sure that people can be able to use local currency to pay for government services, electricity tariffs. And also I think critically one of the issues from the outset that people have raised is the issue of when authorities will actually make sure that people can be able to use local currency to pay for critical services like fuel, products like fuel, and critical services like passport applications.
Golden, thank you for your time. That was Business Weekly News editor Golden Sibanda joining us live here on News Plus.